Hello everyone, and welcome to Playing with Power MTG. Today we have a special episode. This video is a deck tech for Persist Pod, which is part of the Iconic Masters Challenge. We were invited to be part of this challenge by our friends, the Mind Sculptors. The Mind Sculptors are a CEDH channel with a focus on gameplay videos, deck techs, set reviews, and deck building theory. They produce episodes deep diving into all the things we love about CEDH. The goal of the Iconic Challenge is to take classic 60-card decks and archetypes from Magic's history, port them over to CEDH, and see how they play as 100-card singleton decks. Many other channels are involved in this challenge: Play to Win, Comedian MTG, Commander Mechanic, Stacked EDH, Moderately Anonymous MTG, and many more. Expect lots of gameplay episodes in the future between these channels and decks. Mike chose to represent Playing with Power for this challenge, and the deck he chose to present is Modern Birthing Pod. Birthing Pod is an artifact from New Phyrexia that costs 3 generic and 1 Phyrexian green mana. It has an activated ability that reads, 1 in Phyrexian green, tap and sacrifice a creature. Search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost equal to 1 plus the sacrificed creature's converted mana cost, put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. Modern Birthing Pod decks were a powerhouse in their heyday. There were many variants of the deck, usually based in green, white, and black. Some lists played 4 or 5 colors and were known as Kiki Pod, and were focused on combos with Kiki Jiki Mirror Breaker. For years, the deck was a top contender in Modern. With the printing of Siege Rhino in 2014, it quickly turned into a value-first, combo-second strategy. Most decks were unable to keep pace with this, and Birthing Pod was finally banned in 2015 alongside Treasure Cruise and Dig Through Time. The reasoning for the ban was that as more powerful creatures were printed into the modern format, Birthing Pod could only increase in power level as time went on. Now came the task of taking the concept of the deck and transforming it into a CEDH deck. To port over Modern Birthing Pod into a competitive commander deck, Mike chose Tymna the Weaver and Tana the Bloodsower as his commanders. This partner pair provides the optimal colors for pod lines and also work great as sacrifice fodder for pod. Tymna also provides much needed card draw if the deck happens to go into the late game. While Mike's list shares the same commanders as the well-known Blood Pod CEDH deck, the list and approach is very different. This list drops most of the stacked pieces and interactive pieces Blood Pod is known for in favor of a more all-in combo playstyle. We began the brewing process for this deck by researching some of the decks that did well in big tournaments. We looked for similarities and differences between them. A common theme in all of the decks is the suite of mana dorks. Another theme is the toolbox cards that change based on the expected metagame. The decks are always very creature heavy, with interaction usually in the sideboard. Mike decided to use the Persist mechanic to accomplish his win cons. Mike's deck runs Persist creatures such as Kitchen Finks and Murderous Redcap. These creatures are used in conjunction with cards like Malira, Sylvok Outcast, and a sacrifice outlet to create infinite loops. It also lets you play a toolbox style game plan with the ability to tutor any key card you need for a given situation. Turning a 60-card deck with 4 ofs into a singleton deck comes with its obstacles. The biggest is that we only have one copy of our namesake card, Birthing Pod. In order to find our key cards, we're running the most efficient tutors in our format: Vampiric Tutor, Imperial Seal, Demonic Tutor, and Diabolic Intent. Another challenge is finding a way to convert the infinite life gain we gain through Kitchen Finks combos into an actual win. In Modern, infinite life will usually mean you've won the game. In CEDH, however, this is far from the case. To make this work, we have cards such as Mayhem Devil and Goblin Bombardment to end the game with our combo. Another obstacle is keeping this list true to the Modern deck. 3 to 4 card combos are harder to pull off in CEDH, but we can make up for this with redundancy. Many different sacrifice outlets, persist creatures, and redundant combo pieces mean we have a better shot at drawing what we need. Some inspiration from this list was taken from popular CEDH decks such as Blood Pod for the tutors in the mana base, and some of the Protean Hulk sacrifice combos have been inspired by combos in the Honorless Marin list. This deck is built around assembling infinite combos. We use Birthing Pod to help assemble the pieces we are missing, but the deck also uses Survival of the Fittest and Yisan the Wanderer Bard for additional redundancy. There are a few main combos we're going for. Our first combo involves a Sacrifice Outlet, Persist creature, and a creature that negates the Persist effect. With these 3 pieces combined, You can sacrifice the Persist creature as many times as you'd like, and the creature will always return to the battlefield. This allows you to loop any ETB or death triggers infinitely. Our second combo involves Kiki-Jiki Mirror Breaker. Kiki-Jiki alongside Village Bellringer or Felidar Guardian will give you an unlimited amount of creatures to attack your opponents. Simply tap Kiki-Jiki to create a copy of either creature and you'll get a token copy with haste that enters and untaps Kiki-Jiki. The combo is assembled through Birthing Pod by doing the following. Sacrifice a 3 mana value creature to find Felidar Guardian. Felidar Guardian enters, flickering Birthing Pod. Sacrifice Felidar Guardian to pod, finding Karmic Guide. Karmic Guide enters, returning Felidar Guardian from the graveyard to the battlefield. Felidar Guardian flickers Birthing Pod again. Sacrifice Felidar Guardian to find Kiki-Jiki Mirror Breaker. Then you tap Kiki-Jiki to create a copy of Karmic Guide. Karmic Guide will enter, returning Felidar Guardian from the graveyard to the battlefield. Felidar enters, flickering Kiki-Jiki. Activate Kiki-Jiki, targeting Felidar Guardian. This combo produces an unlimited amount of Felidar Guardian tokens with haste. Our final combo involves using Protean Hulk. Put Protean Hulk onto the battlefield and find a way to get it into the graveyard. Once again, Birthing Pod can help with this. This will allow you to win the game on the spot with Lesser Massacre, Viscera Seer or Carrion Feeder, Disciple of the Vault, and Melira, Sylvok Outcast. This will allow you to sacrifice Lesser Massacre to Viscera Seer an unlimited number of times, triggering the Persist ability of Lesser Massacre. It will return to the battlefield. Persist will attempt to put a -1/-1 counter on the Massacre, but Melira prevents counters from being applied. We can repeat this effect infinite times, triggering Disciple of the Vault each time. Well, that about wraps it up for our Persistent Pod deck tech. Make sure to check out the Mind Sculptors for the iconic gameplay challenge and see this deck list in action. There are tons of awesome decks from other creators that showcase some of the great decks in Magic's past. Links are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.